Well, hello, hello, hello. Selamat pagi, petang, siang, malam. My name is Nyx Sulaiman, your host for tonight. And for today's podcast, we will be discussing more D&D. And for tonight, we have brought in. I say we, more like I. I have brought in two very special guests. Who, if you would please introduce yourselves.
Very special is correct. I'm Aaron. I've been DMing for quite a while, and I'm a player in one of in Ryan's campaigns. So the previous guest upon the podcast.
All right.
Hello, I'm Marcus.
Hi, Marcus.
Hi, Marcus.
Hi.
All right. Okay, gentlemen, would you like to tell the audience who you guys are based on the pictures that you guys selected to represent yourselves?
I'm Ramsey Bolton. Yeah.
Oh, you hurt me, Marcus. You hurt me. I'm Mr. Sexy Wheatley. That's me.
Ooh.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I keep
Oh
my.
my.
Oh my, sexy
Ooh.
Wheatley.
Oh yeah.
Well, well, well.
Don't worry. I know.
All right. All right. So, right. So you guys. So I take it the two of you have been like good friends for quite a while.
Um.
Since college. Yeah.
Yeah. So few years now.
Yeah, it's like what, like 3 years? Something
Yeah,
like that?
Years.
4 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it
3.
might be 4 actually. I think
Ooh,
it was
four,
26.
4 years and going. So during those 4 years, have you guys, you guys already knew Ryan by then, or is that
No,
I
something? Or is
knew
that something that
I
happened?
knew
right.
I knew Ryan before. Um. We met in I think middle school, and we've been friends ever since. Uh. And then I met Aaron when I went to college. We became friends. And then
We didn't start out as friends
I
though.
brought them together.
Yes. Marcus was the glue in Ryan and I's relationship.
Ah, I see. The glue that keeps
Like
everything together. The
Oh
peanut,
yeah.
and the glue that I like.
the peanut butter to his jelly.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, man! If Ryan was here, oh, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, but unfortunately Ryan is not here, sadly enough, since he cannot make it at this time slot.
yeah.
Probably working.
I
Yeah.
know, pretty sad. I know. Imagine having a job. Am I right?
How
Job and life.
that's dumb.
Yeah.
You're
That's dumb.
That's dumb. You're dumb.
You're dumb. Anyways. So, um, from what I've heard from Ryan, the two of you have actually done a whole lot more dungeon mastering than he does. At least that's what I've heard.
Aaron has. I haven't really. I mean, I've done some.
Excuse me, you did a one shot, all right, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed the shit out of that one shot.
Thank you.
And you just need to branch out, bud. You just need to branch out and do it. But I definitely dungeon mastered though. Like I kind of
Nah. Never mind. He did not. Let's just
What?
forget all. Let's just forget all of college.
Yeah, we'll just. It's not like I did only DMing for all of college and later on. That's fine. It's fine.
Fine.
It's all right.
DMing for
Yes.
almost all of college, you say? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
quite the time commitment. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, our friend group, a member of our friend group, set up a D&D a D&D club. So and I was I was his DM, and I was the de facto train new kid DM. I was that guy.
Ah, okay. So you mean to tell me you're basically the tutorial man at the beginning of every MMORPG?
Exactly. So I'm the one who tries to get people who previously were kind of, excuse me, sorry, a little blasé about it or a little like lukewarm into really getting excited about it, which I don't know if they send them to me for that because I don't think I did a good job at that, but that's okay.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But safe to say, at one point had 3 different D&D sessions going on in college that I was DMing, so that was kind of rough. But I also DM'd for a party. Fortunately, it didn't last this long, but that consisted of 8 or 9 people. Right? No, 11 people.
Yeah,
Oh my
it was a
god.
lot.
It was
Yeah,
awful. I mean, I loved it. It was great.
yeah, it was
Especially
great, but
it
it
was
was
just so many
it was a
people.
lot.
Jeebus
It was a
crispy. 11 people. How
Yeah,
even?
yeah.
yeah, 11 people, and fortunately, people were still very inexperienced with D&D, so they didn't know what was going on. So they kind of let
Fair
other
enough.
people kind of have their turns. As they learned a lot more, they started to get be a little bit more of an asshole. So, but that's fine.
Ah, well,
Yeah, and
such is life.
You're
it
right.
was also a college game, so it also had to deal with all of the college drama, which
Yeah,
was that was great.
oh, don't remind me, Marcus. That was awful.
That indeed, yeah, that sounds lovely, man. That sounds lovely. Anyways, so like throughout just like throughout those all those years, dungeon mastering, like what would you say would be like the peak of your DMing career?
Ooh, peak. I don't
Yes.
know. I mean, I would probably say so far we were able to. I'd actually probably say our current group, like our current group. I'm running a game right now with Marcus and Ryan and a few others and things like that. But I'd probably say that that's probably one of my better D&D campaigns. I usually spend a lot of time prepping for games, and this is this is kind of the culmination of like half a year's worth of ideas thrown into one. You know.
Half a
Just thrown
year's
into
worth,
the
huh?
cauldron.
Mm, well, I mean, I work at a pretty boring job, and you don't really do stuff at like on break time. So I just come up with like D&D concepts or cool characters or NPCs and to be in a world. So and usually come up with a setting. You know, I like to homebrew a lot, so it's makes it unique that way.
Ah, I see. So you like to homebrew, eh?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So,
That's
alright. So what kind of elements do you usually brew into your homebrew?
mm,
A
usually.
a little bit of Earl Grey.
Oh, you bet. Little bit of apple cider here and there, you know.
Ah,
Yeah,
But
I see. Some of that pumpkin spice because it's Halloween.
oh gosh, no. I'm not a white chick. All right,
All right, you're right. You're a white dude.
I'm a white dude, so that
come
means
on, let's
I
get
have
it.
Yeah,
some
you're right.
standards.
You're right. Some
Let's get
standards.
it straight. Unlike us.
You're right.
Um,
But there's quite a bit. Actually, quite a bit of my current campaign is homebrewed. So, um, generally, things I like to homebrew are generally like improvements. For instance, certain armors give you like it makes sense that armor in D&D doesn't just give you an AC. Like it could give you a resistance on something, or it can give you things like that. Certain weapons I kind of buffed because there's it doesn't really make sense that a great sword doesn't have reach, and so I usually give greatsword ability to have like 10 feet of movement, but most of the stuff is like the most of the homebrew stuff is like the world, the setting, certain elements. So, for example, like whether or not they have technology or not, like Eberonian style technology. Monsters. I like to homebrew a lot of monsters because honestly, I'm a DM, and just ripping stuff from the book kind of is a little boring. So I like to reflavor it.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
But That's kind of the general stuff, but nothing too crazy.
I see, I see, I see. Nothing too nothing too crazy, whatnot. All right, so, um, Marcus,
Right.
and how about you? Like, the you said I think Aaron said you've done a one shot. How did that go?
It went
It was
it
great.
went it went pretty alright. I enjoyed how it went. Um, yeah, I was going for a very deep feeling, which it did not turn out that way. Um, it was but it was still very fun. I enjoyed everybody's characters. Um, yeah, it lots of work went into that. I made my own custom monster, which was nice. Um, I would probably have worked on that a little bit more if I were to do it again. Um, the basic idea was I took the sort of idea of, I think it was a 4chan story of the goat man, basically a creature that doesn't really have a real shape. Um, basically, he infiltrates the group, and then shenanigans happen. Is sort of the idea. Um,
I
I
see.
wanted to give this monster a little bit of an edge by making him immune to basically everything except for silvers and holy weapons and also magic to some extent.
All right.
Uh, but yeah,
It was it was actually pretty interesting, the encounter Marcus made. It kind of reminded you of a little bit like of Evil Dead. Evil Dead
yep,
mixed with
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah, with like a boogeyman type monster, and it was very fun, very engaging. It's
yeah.
just yeah, no, I had a lot of fun with that. Unfortunately, I made a joke character, so it kind of ruined a little bit of the tension. But that's okay. We
This
had
is fun.
fun.
I mean,
Yeah,
it is what it is. That's usually what
yeah,
happens.
When
yeah. It was a very like horror themed kind of one shot, and it was really good. I liked all the encounters that we had. The party was very good. Um, and safe to say that is you know uh one shots can be very tough to run sometimes.
I see, I see, I see. Yeah, well, how did that one shot end though?
um uh mon- monster die. Uh,
Yeah, we were
I
victorious.
yeah I at that point I was also very hesitant. I would say to kill people. Um, I probably should have. I'll be honest, but
Yeah,
uh,
especially in a one shot, it was kind of
but
expected.
yeah, but I was very green at that point. I mean, I did DM a little bit in high school, but I'll be honest, it was not fantastic. Um, less than fantastic. But I what was I saying? I can't remember.
You were saying about how you DM'd a bit in high school?
Yeah. Before that, I was trying to get back on track to what I was. Oh yeah.
Um, right. Okay.
So yeah, yeah. I remember now. Yeah. I was still very green, so I'm not used to killing players, or and so I probably could have killed them more. Been a lot harsher, but that's
So,
fine.
so that actually also brings up a pretty interesting question though. Like, when should you really start? Like, I mean, kind of ramping up some of the difficulty. I'm not saying actively going to kill characters, like,
Yeah.
but like when does that like become at the fresh or threshold? You know? is that
Yeah.
that's kind of expected in one shots, I think, but in other things like when do you do that in a D&D campaign? You know, when do you say, all right, kid gloves are coming off, kids, time to get dirty, you know?
I would definitely say it depends on the game itself, obviously.
Yeah.
Like if you're going for a more low fantasy Dark Souls game, kid gloves come off pretty early on.
I think they're off at the very beginning.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
is there any D&D game that pretty much just throws their players straight into, I wouldn't say the deep end, but definitely is like, hey, the only tutorial you're getting is session 0.
Well, it
Uh,
depends
Tales,
on.
Tales of Waterdeep, I think is what, or it's like the tomb of the, what is it called? It's basically the oldest Sirac tomb, you know.
Yeah.
That one, the old school module for that is like so bullshit. It is. Oh, can we cuss on this? By the way.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, just go ahead. Just go ahead.
Oh, sweet.
I mean,
All right.
I mean, as long as you're not, using the forbidden words that start with the letter N, you should be fine.
Oh.
Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry.
You know, I lost my N pass quite a while ago. So,
Oh,
but anyway.
didn't think you had one.
Well, I did, surprisingly. I did. But
Wait, what?
I lived in
He's
Florida.
in Florida.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Well, anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Oh.
that was BS. I gotta try to find that. I think it's like it was literally Gary Gygax when he was writing this module saying, "You think you're good at D&D," and he basically like he trips you up and curbs you with a fucking crowbar. Is basically what it was, and it literally was like the most unfun module for everybody. It was awful.
It's like Gary Gygax took one look at D&D and thought, man, everyone is having too much fun.
Yeah. I mean, I think he was a little bitter at the time, where he's like, oh man, they're just beating all my stuff really easily. All right, here's a dungeon that, you know, is so BS that almost nobody will get it, or at least you'll be going through multiple character sheets to go through it.
Multiple character sheets. You mean people actually died a lot?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Like,
what do you do? What do you do? Throw like six red dragons or something?
No, well, see, you're pretty low level at this point going into this, and not only that, but there was a lot of crazy encounters and a lot of things that would just outright instantly kill your character, like a lot. Like if you touched a certain stone, you know, instant death. You can't be reincarnated, or you would go all the way back to the beginning of whatever, you know, all the way back to the beginning of the dungeon and have to make your way through it again. And it was awful because there's so many instant death traps, and like some of the traps you actually have to investigate for clues, and like there was almost impossible encounters, and like like the main boss, you think you open it up and you're like, oh, here's the boss, and it turns out that's not the boss. You have to go searching some more for it. It's awful. It was awful, and so it hoodwinked you. So if you think you killed the boss and like left and like, yay, you didn't actually. It was like, oh my gosh, it was so dumb. For instance, there's a room that as soon as the party enters it, there's a timer. There's a timer on this room, and once the timer's, and it's something really quick, like 3 or 4 minutes. You know, it's something really quick. That's like barely anything for any time to do anything. And as soon as they start investigating it, once the timer runs up, or runs out, I should say, a giant roller comes and just squishes all of it. And instant death, party kill, no coming back. And so people brought multiple character sheets for it, but even then, it was just awful. It was so like, it would just punish you for no reason. So
But you see, is it a match for Hydra Force?
I wouldn't want to go through it.
And hello there,
I
Farius
suck
Coles.
at it.
Welcome to the stream. Yes, college D&D must have been
welcome.
great in terms of available time and circle of friends. Yeah, I know.
Actually, I would say I would agree with that in terms of time and circle of friends. It was definitely a lot better because we made a lot of friends there, like Dave
Oh yeah,
and
we had. I mean, our first D&D group was 11 people, so that's a lot of friends.
I still can't get over the fact that it was 11 people. I mean, technically mine started out as like, I know 10, 11 people, but then it got like split up between 3 different DMs.
yeah, that didn't happen.
Yeah, it didn't happen, and fortunately, a few people kind of left, and so the main bulwark of the group was like 8 or 7 people.
Yeah,
you know,
which still quite a bit, but
yeah, especially for one of your first times DMing, that's pretty rough.
Yeah, that does sound pretty rough. Actually, you wanna talk a bit more about this epic 11-man game you guys had?
Shit. I don't want to talk too much because there's a lot of cringe in it. See.
No, you see, cringe is content. Go on, continue.
All right. Well, let's just preface this a little bit. So this was a college D&D group, and most of the people coming into college, and this was like a new college people. These weren't like really.
This was our freshman year of college.
Like straight out of high school. Kind of experience.
Some of them were older, like
Dave.
Yeah.
There's a few that were older, but not many. And but the one consistent factor with at this point, most of them being teenagers, or just barely coming out of it, is that college students are really horny. Really horny.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, and that has a lot of implications. And I'm a new DM. I was a newish DM at this point. I probably DM'd a couple one shots, if that, prior to this. And this is like a homebrew world that I made because I didn't have any modules because I didn't have money because of college. But this was rough. We had all walks of life in terms of a D&D party. Like, we had the good kid who's kind of quiet. That was Marcus. You're the good boy who's kind of quiet.
Aw, good boy Marcus. You could almost see that in the current campaign.
Oh yeah. It's
almost
adorable. But there was everything from little good boys to power gamers. We had quite a few power gamers in this.
Okay.
Which means is like they have an innate ability to to hyper tweak their builds, like for your character. Like they would multi-class into many different things to just hone in on one specific aspect. Most of them were damage, which was awful for me. But there's a few people like that just like to break it. There was the really horny people, and you had to be aware of that shit. Yeah, Marcus is wincing over here. I don't want to go into the story yet, but we had some really good. I'll preface this prior. But we had a few players that were like really good. Some of them were very RP focused, and just couldn't get enough D&D. And they were hooked. And it was a mixed bag, mostly good, but and there's also the drunk. There's one that always showed up to sessions drunk. Yeah. He was kind of a belligerent asshole, so there was that guy. Okay. So safe to say, this is a perfect culmination and a perfect storm to create a D&D horror story. And this is what I'm gonna probably tell you right now.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and so it's now referred to in our friend group and like very people who are there as the airship.
Ah, yes,
There.
Fire Skulls. It is does indeed starting to. It is indeed starting to sound like a nightmare for DMing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so in this world, airships are extremely rare and only are made like once in a while, but they are very useful.
Right.
And they were like, oh shit, we gotta go travel to a place. And like, we gotta get somewhere pretty quick, and we don't want to really use a horse or anything like that. So they bribed they bribed their way onto an airship, and which is kind of a big thing. That was like, they were like, oh cool, we're on an airship. Little did I know as a DM, like, putting this many people together. I'll just say people together.
Ooh, you
Horny
you
people, I
you
should say.
make it
Uh,
seem like they're less than human.
well, no, they're definitely human. Like, they
All
have good
right.
traits about them all.
Oh yeah.
But like, their degeneracy was prevalent
Ah,
at this time. And
Yeah.
me, I'm
Degenerate
I'm
like you deserve to be on a cross.
what'd you say, bud?
Degenerates like you deserve to be on a cross.
Yeah,
Says,
yeah. But so what happened was, we had this airship, and they started to like climb aboard. And in fact, there was a recent NPC. Like, it was, I don't usually condone DM NPCs usually, but there, I actually made one for this case because since almost all of the party was new players, like, I wanted to show them like different like how a turn would go, and I would kind of narrate what the DM NPC is doing to kind of show them what to do. Well, I tried to get rid of this DM NPC by trying to kill off this DM NPC,
all
and
right.
because I didn't want it anymore, and I didn't want to be the person to just have a DM NPC around, you know. And so I tried to kill him off. Turns out, made everybody really fucking sad. And so, like, to the
Aw.
point where a few of them were tearing up, and you know, one of them was legitimately sniffling. I was like, oh shit. Oh shit. So I was like, all right, we're gonna have this spellcaster. He can help. He could revive her, I guess. And everybody's like, yeah. And I was like, damn it. Like, I was legitimately like, damn it, all right, this person's
Mission
alive.
failed. We'll get him next time.
Right. But I played it off like, okay, well, this person needs to recover, so needs to wait. Needs to recover, and she's kind of in a sad state, so don't, just let her be, basically. Well, it turns out putting that many people in putting that many putting that many people in an airship, and which is basically like a place where nothing happens, for a long extended time, the players get kind of bored. And you might be asking, Aaron, why didn't you just like smash cut this? Like, oh yeah, you arrive at the end of your journey. Well, so I thought at the time the players would want to RP, and generally they were very good at RP.
The
They really
story
liked to
isn't
RP.
even over, and I kind of know where this is going.
And I was like, all right, fine. And literally, I was just sitting there writing some notes about what happened, because I was gonna actually have like a little mini encounter on the airship to try to have
Oh,
some,
okay.
yeah, try to have a little fun, you know. But unfortunately, one of the players looked over to another and said, yeah, and in character, he's like, "You want to fuck?"
Oh no.
and
Oh,
me,
oh.
I'm just sitting here. I thought like most of the time they make jokes like that all the time. I mean, some of them are passive, stuff like that. And so I thought it was just a joke. And then and then after a while they're like, yeah, we're doing it. It's like, and then I was looked up from my book like, wait, what's going on? And he's like, yeah, I'm fucking this guy. What?
Oh no. Oh no.
And then it's like, yep. And then a few of the people are like, yep, I have, yep. They just like, all right, we're just doing this for fun. It's like, okay. So they decided to have like a big like whole spiel with a few other players. I'm not gonna go into it. It was horrifying.
All
It
right.
was.
I'll take your
It
word
was.
for it.
And I'll leave all that up to imagination. But let's just say a few people from the airship got involved as well, like a few workers and things like that. And
Ah.
yeah, and this old lady, oh gosh, I forgot about the old lady until now. Oh, okay, and our neighborhood drunk player started hitting on the previously, or like not but a day ago, dead NPC,
Uh-huh.
and she was like, I'm not doing anything. Like, she was just mortified. And unfortunately,
I mean, that's a perfectly understandable reaction to have.
yeah. Unfortunately, the NPC we had was an elf, really good hearing,
Oh no.
in an airship.
Please tell me you rolled to fail that.
No, I mean, she was a druid, for God's sakes. Like,
Oh no.
hyper sense awareness around her, It's like,
No. Why
poor
would you
druid.
do that?
Right? And I was just, and then once the session kind of closed, everybody was kind of laughing. But I remember distinctly once the laughter stopped, everybody just kind of looked at each other like, oh, what the fuck did we do? Just, some of them instant fucking regrets. Other people really didn't have, their degeneracy was on a different level. But I was just sitting there at the end of the table, like, oh god, what just happened? Oh, this is awful. Oh, and me,
Yeah.
being so inexperienced, I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know how to stop this. I didn't know how to be like, all right, so can we just cut? I didn't do anything like that because I didn't know. They just kept going. Fucking bastards.
I get what
They
you
just
mean.
wouldn't stop.
It's like it's like when you see like a railroad like strapped to the brim, full of like newborn babies, and there's a train barreling towards
Oh,
them. You're just sitting there like, this is awful. I can't look away from this.
Yeah, you know what the worst part is?
What?
You're the guy that in that scenario that the train is heading towards all these babies. You're the guy who has to be on a boom mic in front of everybody, like, yeah, we're currently saying a train impact 17 children, and it's going to be horrific. Stay tuned next time, kids. Oh, I guess they won't.
We'll be right back. Da, da,
We'll be
da,
right
da,
back.
da, da.
And it was certainly one of the worst experiences. From what I hear, it's certainly not anything as bad as some of the D&D horror stories that other people have. But
yeah.
we had a few people, quite a few arguments in our groups. That was interesting.
Yeah.
And again, new player, didn't really know much. And but nowadays, fortunately, I'm a lot more experienced, and I know when to shut that shit down.
I see. Well, now that both of you are players in Ryan's current campaign, how much different is that from, say, DMing?
Oh, it's
Right
so
there.
it's so nice.
Yeah.
Like I love DM. Don't get me wrong. It's
Right.
still my favorite part about D&D. Because you get to really see everything, and you get to really see these players go from being like just random people, that maybe your friends, they were your friends, but now they're just you see them really get excited about doing some really cool shit, and they're like, yeah, we did this. They all get all pumped up, and you just feel good in your heart. But being a player, especially in Ryan's campaign, like Ryan's campaign is batshit insane. Let's just put that on the table. That's where it stays, because no one is going to take that off.
It is.
It's batshit insane.
I love it, but it is.
Oh yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
You're right.
I love it too. I love the craziness. I love how he just looks at certain rules and says
No.
no, and he just pulls him by the collar down to the ground and shoots that rule in the back of the head. And it's like, all right, guys, let's have fun. That's basically what he's doing.
I feel like Ryan's the kind of guy who in a meeting full of like rules lawyers just goes, I'm gonna make this pencil disappear.
yeah.
One rule comes up, he just slams that pencil straight into his eye socket. Boom, ta-da! It's
Any questions?
gone.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah, no, that's exactly the best way to describe
I mean,
Ryan.
you're not wrong about Ryan's campaign being batshit insane. I don't think there are that many campaigns that throw their players straight into a false Hydra encounter within the first 3 sessions.
Funny enough, I would be one of those. But
What?
but to be fair, Ryan has what's the best way to put it? Okay, when you have the volume on like a stereo. Okay.
Yeah.
Ryan, for me, I like to keep it probably right around 7, 8, depending on the campaign. Maybe I'll crank it up a little bit. Ryan turns it to 10 and breaks the fucking knob. And he's like, and then he's like, all right, let's have fun. He's a great guy. Great, we love you, Ryan. By the way,
Ryan,
Yeah,
Ryan, if you're watching or listening to this, we love you. We love you, man.
Yeah,
We love you.
yeah. Don't ever change, dude.
Never change.
But the thing is, one thing that's kind of funny. Since I'm DM'd quite a bit, there's a lot of things that don't really surprise me in terms of encounters. Oh, yeah, we'll get to the surprises later. But but Ryan somehow is able to find something. He just digs up something and he's like, perfect. Or he's like, all right, you thought this was play. We got a little different here.
Yeah. He's like the one that goes to the unused bin, digs to the very bottom, and is like, this looks good. Wipes off some dust that's been accumulating for years now. This looks good. I'll just throw this at my players.
Yeah.
Ryan seems like the kind of chef that just randomly rummages like the very back of his fridge. He's a moldy piece of cheese. Yeah, this looks good. I'm just gonna give my restaurant goers a bit of a surprise.
And then it works out in the end.
And everybody's like, oh, I love blue cheese.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I made it myself.
But the thing is, I also have to say this about Ryan.
Yeah.
Is that he is, for being this new to DMing, he is actually extremely good at it.
Yeah.
And even though there's certain rulings as a DM, I'm sitting here like like reading the book, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and I'm like, what? But you can't. That's impossible. And
This
it's like,
goes,
no, this is.
but
This is
sir,
right.
the Codex Astartes does not support this.
You're right.
Yeah.
But sir.
But
And then I'm the guy in the Astartes trailer, or my I'm the guy, or not trailer, but the video where I get punched. I'm the psyker, and I get punched in the face, and then boltered to the ground.
Ah,
yeah.
I'm that guy.
it's like
That's-
yes, it's like if you were the psyker in the Astartes video, like the thing you saw or heard wasn't really the whispers of chaos. It was just the absolute heretical actions or rulings that Ryan has made throughout his entire DMing career.
And you know what? I love it. I love the just craziness. I love how batshit insane it is. I love how, he's literally combining multiverses of characters, stories, plot lines, things like that into one. And
Like,
yet,
I
the one
know.
thing, though, the one thing,
The one thing.
he told me this.
Okay.
He didn't write notes until just recently. This
Yeah.
entire time.
Dude.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
I know his memories are like bonkers, but god damn.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like in this sense, I'm extremely different from Ryan. I
Right.
literally, my most recent campaign that I've been doing is like at least 20 pages of notes, not including NPCs. And it's like,
Right.
and it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. But the fact that he's just like, yeah, we'll just fucking wing it. That's fine.
Come to think of it, like I'm pretty sure for most of our one shots, or the one-on-ones that Ryan usually has, he never actually plans any of them out. He just has like a general idea of how to start it, and just
Yeah.
and then just lets the player just go. I'm just gonna do this, and Ryan just responds with, yeah, and here's some ninjas.
yeah. So like the fact he could do this is actually really commendable. And it's for someone like me, it makes it very like, whoa, how are you able to do this? But in a way, it's also actually very freeing for a lot of the players, and I think that he's going for that kind of open-ended, kind of small stuff, but the general plot line is kind of, he's trying to push us in a way, which is cool. I dig. But
Speaking of, sorry. You
Oh,
going to say
shit.
something?
I was just gonna say, it's like the way he does it is he makes a lot of your decisions yours, because they are your decisions.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
They're not his, they're yours.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yep,
it's not like,
and it pretty much means that if we end up, I don't know, stuck in a ditch or gunning it by the skin of our teeth at like 1 HP in a dream, that is
oh
technically
god,
our fault.
yeah, it's
Yep.
our fault. I mean,
It is.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you mean though with how he makes most of our decisions ours, or put it more generally, he allows the players to actually make their own decisions.
Yeah.
Because the number of times that at least in the previous campaign I was in, where I tried to do something or I thought it was pretty creative, only to be told, you get like for example, I attempted to make this character that was immune to cold, because immune to cold, and picked a human variant that was immune to cold. It pretty much just states out that he comes from this pretty like very cold lands over in the Swords Coast or whatever. It's like, okay, fine. And I'm like, okay, cool. I don't need to buy winter coats then for this icy place we're going, because it says right here I'm immune to cold. And he says no.
it's cold.
He's like, no, you can't. It's like you're gonna take cold damage anyways. Like, what?
What?
No. It
No.
says it says right here. Like,
It says right here.
He's like, no, no, no. It's like where we're going. It's really extra cold. We're like, you know what?
Extra cold.
And I'm like, you know what? Fine. And I think the only time where I've ever felt something like that happening with Ryan was anything to do with my character and sleep, since my character is an elf.
Ah, yeah.
Like I when either he forgets about it or it's just outright ignored. I don't know. But for those of you who are
I think he
unaware,
probably forgets.
yeah.
Yeah,
But to those of
I
you
was
who are
gonna say.
unaware, elves, at least in D&D, they do not sleep. They just
They don't.
meditate for like 4 hours, and that counts as a long rest.
But they can still listen around.
Yeah, they
like,
can they
it's
can still
really good.
listen in. Yeah, and there's some events where I'm just sitting here like, hold up, elves don't sleep. And it's like, oh no, you are.
You
It's
are.
mag
Yeah.
it
You are.
or it's magically induced. And I'm like, yeah, you know what?
Even though
Even though they're
like,
you
into
can't
magical
put
sleep.
even though
Yeah.
the codex says otherwise, you know what? It's what fine. You're the DM, whatever.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like,
I
and with that,
truthfully do think that he just forgets.
yeah, he just forgets. And
I mean, hey, in exchange for that, I get some pretty cool stuff, which we'll get into in a moment.
right.
That's
Well,
fine, I guess.
I think that like with that, for some reason, I think he really wanted like visions, quote unquote, or dreams or whatever, to be really important for certain things. So
Yeah.
I think that's why. That's why. And to be fair, all the times when you were put asleep, you had some pretty. I think you had some pretty cool vision or whatever. So
Yeah,
it's like,
indeed. Like what I said about like what I got in return was something pretty cool, which you know what, I let it slide.
yeah, like usually there's like some reason behind it. It's not like you're sitting there and then like at nighttime everybody in the party is asleep and all of a sudden like an encounter shows up to just fucking wreck our day. You know, you're not just sitting there like, oh yep. The DM is not sitting there like, oh yeah, you're asleep, but I'm an elf. No, you're asleep for this. It's like, are you what?
What?
What? What?
Yeah, exactly. So
It's like
I think,
the elf is wide awake. DM says you're asleep. What?
what
What?
What am I looking at then? Oh, a vision. Oh, okay. Understandable. Have a nice day.
yeah, vision okay. All of a sudden, a giant like fucking monster from, you know, that is quieter than anything around. Yeah, not okay. So not okay.
No, not okay.
But
Anyways, I feel like this is the best time like just to pretty much have a proper, I guess, summary, or is it a recollection of our collective adventures in Ryan's campaign and how Hydra Force came to be.
ah, yes. Well, safe to say, I think Marcus and I, of the three of us, I think Marcus and I are the oldest here by like
Yeah.
3 sessions or 2
Yep.
or something like that.
Pretty
Yeah.
much. And I acknowledge
So,
you, and I acknowledge you both as my esteemed seniors.
aw, even though you're the most like the better player out of all 3 of us, yeah, you know, we'll just, yeah, we're older, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you want like a summary from like very beginning or like
Yeah,
even
I
what
guess
your character?
I guess from the very beginning will be all right. Yeah, I mean,
Alright.
I'd like to know what happened in the very beginning.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
So, best way to say, is that it started with Kraus and Josh, which
All right.
were a gnome little character. Obviously, you know this, but the audience doesn't, and a paladin. And they were traveling on a train. Turns out that the gnome is a druid, by the way. This train was continuing on to a wonderful place known as Waterdeep, which is on the Sword Coast. And there's a whole adventure around it. It's really good. Well, turns out that on this train, there was some shenanigans with the Cult of Dragon, because that's a big Rise of Tiamat element within D&D. So he's technically prepping 2 modules at once, so which is kind of cool. But
Interesting.
in this encounter, he in this encounter, the druid decided, yeah, I'm gonna use tangle or like vines and stuff, which he did not know that the vines come from the ground and which came up through the train into the place. Now, given a train is still there, the train still has momentum, and so the train, well, you can kind of see what happened. This train all of a sudden derailed and a huge crash and explosion happened, which was great.
Yeah, it
It
sounds
was
great.
really funny.
Mass
No one-
murder.
Yeah.
It's
So
murder.
it was really funny because Ryan, like, so this was all happening. I was at this point I was planning to join these tests already, but you know, he wanted to do just a game with the new people, you know, get them all prepared. But he's like, they derailed my derailments.
Yeah,
Just
he already
message.
planned. He
It's
already
like,
planned to have this derailed, and then all of a sudden, the party derailed it for him.
yo, dog, I heard you like derailment, so I'm gonna derail your derailing.
Yo,
Yeah.
turn up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after that, the 2 party members felt really bad, and so, but they were able to kind of explain it away as cult of dragon activity. You know,
Yeah.
little did they know that there was a survivor, dun dun dun, who
Well,
saw
actually,
everything. Yeah, who saw everything. But later on, they decided they get to Waterdeep. They were able to hang out and start the Waterdeep Dragon Heist adventure, which is like Yawning Portal and stuff like that. I wasn't there for that, so you probably have to fill me in, Melly.
Yeah, they went to the Yawning Portal, which is actually where they met me. I was Dr. Love. Jonathan, but you can know me as Dr. Love. I was basically I dressed in a plague doctor outfit. I set up a back alley clinic, and we met up with what's his name? No, I think it was actually Eladra this time that sent us to go find her friend that was that went missing.
Renair.
Yeah, it wasn't at this point, but it's not Renair. It was, I can't remember her name. She had black hair.
I don't remember. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. We went and we began some investigation in which we went.
Wait, what'd you say?
We went and did some investigation.
Investigating.
Yes, in which we went to the last tavern he was seen at. The Dragon Spa something or another, right? And we go there. We talk to the people. We talked to what was his name? Purple everything. Everything's purple. What's that guy's name, Aaron?
Zoblob.
Zoblob. We go see Zoblob. Unfortunately, I'm not playing Sylvester, so I don't really buy many things. But we get some information from Zoblob that they were abducted by Zentarum, and in which they were taken to a warehouse. In which we investigate the warehouse. Get jumped by a bunch of Kenku. I go down very quickly. Dr. Love, he was many things, but he was also very weak.
He's very weak.
Yeah. I was
Ah, yes, of
play
course, Dr. Lev, evil plague doctor, super squish.
Super
yeah,
squish. But
super space. But I also
glass
did
cannon
have
though. Glass
yeah
cannon.
yeah I also did in fact have a little thing called the blood in my possession. Actually, quite a bit of it too. Not at this point, but I think at this point I only had some. But later on, I had a lot. Um, in which this is at this point, I believe this is when Am comes in.
Ah, my first
Ah,
character.
damn.
Yeah.
I remember
Also,
them.
as Aaron, my characters don't last long. I go through characters a lot. They die all the time doing stupid stuff. So
Yeah, especially like for characters with Aaron, he dies really.
oh yeah, especially first few levels. I'm just fair game. They're probably dead. Thrown to the meat grinder. But first character in Ryan's campaign, which was Am. He was a Warforged kind of robot, but basically Pathfinder from Apex Legends, but a warrior monk there to bring positivity and well, he was gonna do a pacifist run, but first
That didn't last too
first
long.
encounter, yeah, it
Yeah,
took
he
like 2 seconds. The pacifist run lasted 2 seconds because I crashed through the window the skylight
really.
and like landed on a Kenku and killed him instantly. I was super sad. I was like,
Oh,
oh, no pacifist run for me. But
Rip, you have to restart your save.
exactly.
exactly.
But after a little bit, we were able to kind of clear out the place. We were able to find the hostage, I guess.
Yeah,
But
that was Bob. I don't remember his name.
yeah, we were able to find the hostage, and the hostage we were able to kind of help set free. We got warning by the cops, all that fun stuff. But it turned out we were just here for fun shenanigans and Waterdeep. We go through most of the baseline story. So, for instance, this is kind of more for people who kind of know a little bit about. I guess maybe not. Maybe we should kind of explain it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of go
so-
through. Well, I just want just for brevity of time,
Yeah.
I just
I mean, just go. I mean, just go for it. I mean, hey, like if any of you are interested, well, yeah, there's always PDFs of the books that I believe are being mentioned here. I think
Waterdeep.
Tales of Waterdeep and The Rise of Tiamat, which
Yeah, and
Ryan, the
then
absolute
also,
mad
No,
lad, decided
by
to
the way,
mash together, but
it's not.
somehow make it work.
Yeah, it's not Tales of Waterdeep. It's Waterdeep Dragon Heist.
Ah, Water
Yeah,
Dragon
Waterdeep.
Heist. You're right. Yeah, my bad. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do Tales of Waterdeep. Don't do that one.
All right.
Yeah.
Don't do Tales of Waterdeep. Do the Dragon Heist, or as I like to
Wait.
put it, Payday, but fantasy.
Yep. Fantasy
Exactly.
Payday.
Then then also me, Aaron, and Ryan did we did a recap episode.
Yeah, we actually did. We did a recap episode.
And that is on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to try to find it, but but we did we did a recap, and it was very in depth and detailed. But basically, we went through most of the. Actually, I should probably get to the point. He interjected in the Waterdeep Dragon Heist, which was kind of a weird play. But Josh, the paladin character, he underwent like a character arc of a. So there's the party started finding out clues and finding letters from people that should exist but don't, And so this is kind of where the false Hydra kind of makes its mention, and we realized it's like, oh, this is a problem. And so we were able to go through most of the dragon heist, and in which we were able to uncover the false Hydra in this kind of big, epic, climactic kind of end with kind of the false Hydra actually lashing out at quite a few members of the town, and like overall it's like a state of emergency, all that fun stuff. But lo and behold, the heroes of are
The
just
heroes of Love Hydra at this point.
Yep.
it was awful.
Love Hydra, and I think it was at this point, Ryan decided to uh, drop me into the story.
Yeah,
Yep.
Nyx was literally just dropped in there.
Yep.
It's great.
I mean, hey, having to encounter and then help kill a false Hydra in your very first encounter is an interesting experience.
It was admirable. It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like literally showing up to the end of a movie, and where it's like a really good movie. There's really emotional beats and everything, but it's like you're showing up at the end, so you have none of the context.
Right?
That's what's
Yeah.
Like, all I knew was that I came in a souped up car. Yes, there are cars in this campaign for some reason.
There are. Because
Eberron.
it's a mixture of
It's a
Eberron
or
and
it
Terran.
yeah, and we later, and I think the rest of the party only then finds out that Ryan has decided, hey, it wasn't enough that I decided to mash Dragon Heist and Tiamat together. Let's bring the entirety of Eberron as well.
Yep. Yeah. Like this just goes to show how batshit insane Ryan is.
It is. It really is. It's like, okay, it's like you have like typical fantasy paladin, and then you have totally not a garden gnome druid,
Right.
and then all of a sudden you have walking robot and Plague Doctor mask, which
It's
then
Plague
is greeted by this slightly tanned high elf that decides to roll up in front of their doorstep, drifting in a car.
Totally with initial D playing.
Totally with
Or
Unity play.
Eurobeat,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
magic powered carriage. Right. I believe that is the in-world justification for that. Although it is totally not a
flimsy.
Toyota Corolla.
Why a Toyota Corolla? You could have done something cool,
All right,
like a
like, look.
Corvette or something.
Like, look, at the time, Ryan didn't give you that much time. Okay, he's like, why do you want to go in here? Corolla.
Corolla.
But but it has neon lights all over.
Oh, all right. So it's one of those tricked out ones. All right.
Yeah,
all right.
tricked out ones.
I'll accept it.
Yeah,
Barely.
like, see, there, like, I can sense the inner DM within him. They're like already sensing the chaos. No,
Oh yeah.
no. Yes, and yeah, it is around this time where I got in. I got into the game and killed a false Hydra, and
We go confront the false Hydra, kill it.
And killed me. I'm dead.
yeah,
Am is dead.
and Am died. Oh well, Doctor Liv
I am
decided.
dead.
Doctor Liv decided to
Yeah.
use him as a toaster
I-
after that.
Yep. Dr. Love. He was the best toaster I have ever had the pleasure of.
Yep, and while like Joshua Paladin is like, no, you can't use him as a toaster. Doctor Liv pretty much just went, what about I do? Anyway,
How about I do?
Nyx just doesn't really know what to say. It's like, I just got here.
I just got. This man is trying to make this robot into a toaster.
I don't know, but my robot friend died, and he's now turned into a toaster. So
He
interesting
now has
first day
friend
on the job.
toaster.
Yeah. Now I have a friend toaster, and I now work as a barmaid, apparently.
Yep. You are now a part of the False Hydra's payroll. Which, by the way, we got got the Trollskull Alley, which we renamed it the Hydra Force. At this point, we were still negotiating names. But that is in fact where we set up our base of operations.
Mhm.
Let's see. That's it. We lose Am. Unfortunately, he dies, and we get
and your funeral, Am's funeral was
Am's
beautiful.
funeral. It was
Had
beautiful.
one of the party members, the little gnome, hired a was it a mourner?
A
Professional.
crier, a
Yeah.
professional crier.
I remember that one. A professional crier for the funeral.
Our DM had to suffer through and had to RP that poor guy.
Yeah. It was
Right.
glorious.
Oh, sorry, I just had to mention that part.
Yep.
No,
I
it's
did
fine,
forget
it's fine,
about
it's
that.
fine.
After a little bit, you guys kind of got some time to relax. You guys got some gold. You guys were able to, kind of start making your way. This is when my new character showed up after a little bit.
Yes.
Where my sorceress character. So this is basically a changeling sorceress, kind of in terms of class and race. But even though we kind of reflavored it because I didn't like being a changeling, so I was human technically.
And
but
more importantly, we had a sort of debut going about.
Yeah, well, we don't need to mention that yet. But
Mm-hmm.
after a little while, Dr. Love and Ren were able to do a lot of shenanigans together, and
Which, so earlier I killed. By the way, one of my big feats as Dr. Love, I killed a man known as Weird Bottle, who is a notorious, basically gangster. He's a member of what's known as like the Shadow Hand. Is that what they're called?
he's basically a big mob boss.
Yeah,
Well, I
he's a
guess
mob boss.
I guess you could say Dr. Love sent the head of the shadow hit to the shadow realm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and so I was trying to get in pretty deep with what's their name? The Centarum. So they had put me to kill this weird model. In which I go over to his potion shop. I can't. I stealthily. So something about the blood. It is an extraordinarily dangerous disease. In which it is all you have to do is touch it to be infected with it, and it will. It is very terrifying and horrifying what it does to you. It will. It obviously kills you within like I think it was like 6 hours, but it does all sorts of necrosis. It's really horrifying.
The big blessing of Nurgle, basically.
Yeah, basically
Nurgle.
Yep. But yeah, so
I stealthily put some of the blood on my glove, shake his hand, and then wait a few minutes in there. And just I closed down the shop for Weird Bottle, and he is dying in the back room as I finish him off.
Like a fucking Chad. But after a little bit, we were able to do a lot of things together. We actually completed getting the Stone of Galore in the Waterdeep Dragon heist, And we
Yes, that the the retrieval of the Stone of Galore. That I think was that I think involved an incident that Ryan never ever lets us live down.
nope, the
Nope.
theater.
The theater. Oh, the poor
Oh
poor
yeah.
theater.
No,
All right. So
just skip over that entirely.
all right. So to those of you who are wondering, basically there's this one time where the party is pretty much looking like still conducting their Cult of Dragon investigations, and they come across what appears to be a deal of sorts. And
Actually, this was a little later because
yeah, this
we
happened
still
like
haven't.
this happened a little later, and I believe when I believe like this is
Because this is
after
what time.
quite yeah, exactly, this after like quite a few other things happened, which which included but were not limited to Nyx and Nyx and a few others posing as cops while kicking down a door.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting, and I don't know if this preceded or when or is it after a trip to the hospital that was supposed to be a chill day.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Did it
This
happen
was
before or after that?
this happened before the teaser.
Before the Stone of Galore.
Yeah,
Oh right, because this is when.
Lily was there.
Yeah. So so a trip to the hospital. So mini backstory on Dr. Love. His daughter, or not daughter, niece, is in one of the hospitals at Waterdeep, and is under stasis because she's infected by this blood, and so they have to stasis her so she doesn't die. And so what happened is that Dr. Love went to the hospital, and it turns out you want to do this.
Yeah, in which I was just going there to pay the bureaucracy so that they don't cut off her life support. And I go in there, and everything's on. It literally blows up. Everything's on fire, and we go and go in to investigate what the heck is going on, and we find lots of people just like zombified, I think infected with blood. In which, by the way, earlier, me and Rand learned that the blood is actually extraordinarily effective on tieflings. In which Josh the Paladin was here. He's also a tiefling, and we were like, yeah, don't touch the blood, any of you. In which I don't. In which if any of us touched the blood, we would obviously die. But Josh would have died really quickly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still remember that day like it was yesterday. Ryan was like, "Oh hey, everyone. Okay, a good news. This session is going to be a chill session. So, so,
Right.
so just pick what you want to do." And oh boy, my like the only thing that went around my head at the time was, "Oh yeah, didn't Dr. Love say that he had a sick niece or nephew somewhere? Like, how about we pay her a visit? Surely nothing could go
Yeah.
wrong. It's a trip to
Nothing
hospital."
could go wrong.
Nothing could go wrong here.
Cue what was essentially
Everything-
like it was essentially a BBEG in and of itself.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Which you guys took down pretty handsomely.
We took,
Yeah, I mean,
we
yeah,
took down the big BB of which she was supposed to be like a final boss, in which we took her down we took her down too easily.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's either one of those things where it was supposed to be a final boss that came up later down the line, or something that's supposed to be like a recurring plot point. But at this time, my rogue elf character, which is also named Nyx, I know, very creative. uh, pretty much somehow draws this insane amount of luck within herself and just throws out 5 nat 20s in a row.
It was horrifying. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I think at this
As-
time we weren't even level 10.
No, we were level 4s.
Yeah, we were level
Yeah.
4. Like we were level 4. Like god damn.
Yeah.
A level 4 rogue had no right to be dealing that much damage.
Yeah. And in which you guys took that down really quick. And
Yeah. In which he actually had her run away.
yeah, and
Coward.
after right, exactly. And after you guys took her down, we all escaped outside, and promptly L'Oreal Silverhand, who's like the mayor
The
of
mayor.
no,
Yeah,
head
I guess you could
figure
call it
of
the head figure of Waterdeep. Yeah.
basically firebombed the entire hospital once we left.
Yeah.
And after that, promptly arrested Dr. Love for his heinous war crimes, or not war crimes, experimentation and, crimes to humanity. And basically,
As one normally does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the fields of bureaucracy hadn't been turning slow, none of this would have happened. We would have all been fine.
Yeah. And I
and-
think it was from this event onwards where we then replaced Dr. Love with
Really?
woohoo!
In which Millie literally like riding in on this giant dog. I think he's we made him a Russian bear or
like a big Russian bear dog is
yeah.
whatever that's called.
Yeah. Millie comes riding in on that, and
So it's
like,
either a really big dog or a really small bear.
Yes.
yeah.
Or both.
Yeah. Both probably make more sense. When he comes riding in, and goes up to the bar, to Alana, the tiefling that we hired, and goes and points and demands, "Hey, have you seen a little like a woman named Red, and have you seen a woman about like sort of taller than me, but she doesn't she she might not be, she can sort of change her shape. She's very pretty unless she doesn't want to be. Yeah, have you I'm gonna leave now.
And before that, or like right after that, Ren came over and grabbed Villian and hugged her because big thing is Ren and Millie are sisters. That's kind
Yay!
of family reunion.
Family reunion in the middle. No, family reunion right after a hospital got firebombed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Coincidence? I think not.
Coincidence? I think not.
You know,
Billy was behind the bombing the whole time.
I mean, hey, fire is what brings the family together. Am I right?
I think you're
And after that, we were able to do the whole theater denial.
Yeah,
we were
and
able
that
to
brings us
that.
back to theater denial. Right. So, like, just to keep this brief, the party stumbles upon cultists. Cultists decide to give this magic stone over to the messenger, and the messenger takes off. Now, I think at this point, we still weren't level 10, or were we already
No,
level 10?
no, we weren't level
We
10 for a long time. This
we
was
s-
like
Oh,
we still
barely
weren't
were
we
level
still weren't
4.
level 10, but we somehow made quick work of the escorts, and we immediately gave chase to this messenger. And again, this is when my luck as a player manifested itself again. Like, I had no right being able to pull off what I did, or even survive what I took. But somehow my rogue elf not only managed to chase this messenger who was faster than her, effectively through a blizzard, but also survive a critical hit from said messenger.
Oh, it was crazy. It was crazy.
It's crazy. Like, it is really crazy. And and a lot of other things happened, like namely a Kraus turning into a gorilla and attempting to climb buildings.
yeah.
My goodness.
Yep.
But yeah,
Uh,
no, it
yeah,
turns out
but like we pretty much killed the messenger right at the doorstep of this theater that it seemed to be keen on going. And it was at that point that Ryan, the DM, made his frustrations known.
yeah, it almost
Yeah.
like to the level of like, you know, if his mic was muted, he probably was like smashing his keyboard like
You know that meme of the Russian man just like 3 giant hits to his keyboard, just slamming down. Boosh, boosh, boosh. Knocking
Yep.
gives
out
that
his
a loud
TV.
scream. Yeah, that's probably Ryan at that point.
Yeah.
Yep. And the moment he unmuted, he was like, "I hate you guys."
You guys.
Maybe not his exact words, but all I know was that it was immediately followed up with him like sharing his screen of what he had already planned in mind for this theater, which was a beautiful, elaborate, and well modeled map on Tabletop Simulator that had that had a stage and even a prop dragon and like in all the works.
Yeah.
And
Chris.
and the only thing he could say was like, we could have had a pretty interesting encounter in a theater if only you guys did not kill the messenger.
Yeah.
And
Russian spaghetti,
come
never
to think
forgetting.
about it, maybe it was at that point he like if he didn't take notes already, he would have probably stopped taking notes by now. Because why bother planning out elaborate things if your party is just going to deny you the pleasure of using them?
That's-
Oh, it's yeah. I mean, it's a big thing, but
It is a pretty big
Poor
thing,
guy.
but most importantly, we had the Stone of Galore.
we did. We
Yep.
got it. And basically, it was pretty smooth sailing from this point, other than the ambush in front. But other than the big ambush, but it was pretty much smooth sailing to the vault,
Oh.
but beforehand,
Hold on.
we
Can
were
we talk
were
about
I
the,
like I like I like
the
how, I like how you
ambush
just
on top of the roof?
I like how you just I like how you just glossed over uh pretty much the equivalent of a Dark Souls boss at the back of the tavern just trying to get the egg.
Oh
Oh,
yeah. Yeah,
well,
right.
the reason why is because we've been spending a lot of time talking,
True,
and
true,
we're not
true.
even done with the
We're
water
not
deep
even done. We're
portion of
never
this.
done. All right. So we head on over. We head on over to the vault. Things are bad. Things are bad. We kill a few slimes, and we again, rather than having to fight the dragon that we're supposed to be doing at the end of the dragon heist, we somehow managed to talk our way into
Ren's guile and charisma was able to.
Yep,
was
pretty
able
much.
to-
Ren pretty much just talked her way into letting the dragon give up their wealth to Waterdeep authorities.
Yeah.
Which
That,
which
by the way, I never chatted more bricks before.
I
in
know,
my life.
which apparently put a wrench in the Cult of Dragons plans, which then led to a very direct encounter with this entity called the Prodigy, who is apparently the head of the Cult of Dragons,
Yep.
Or-
and Josh and
there was
Josh's
this
rival figure
massive-
thing.
Yeah,
Josh,
there was
Josh
this
had a rival.
massive-
We in this there were multiple different factions vying for this obscene amount of wealth within this vault.
Yep.
And so it came to conclusion with about 4 or 5 different factions showing up and duking it out in the middle of this giant room. In the process, there was a dragon, a polymorphed Tyrannosaurus Rex, and
Yep.
and many other crazy things such as demons, beholders. It was-
Beholders. Who
And it
is
was,
a beholder who is apparently the leader of a gang, apparently.
Xanathar. Yep.
Yeah.
And as soon as I see all of this, as a player, I thought we were all dead. We're dead. There's so many of them, and it's Xanathar. That's like a CR what, like 16, something like that. I don't know.
Oh man,
Like,
and to
we were
think
fucking level 5s. We
and
were
to
level 5s at this point.
and to think we were afraid of CR16s back then.
I know. Well, but we went through this. We're able to clean up all this. The Prodigy got away. Reoccurring villain later. But we were able to finally get Josh's revenge over this over this guy, and we were able to secure the wealth and vault for the good guys, so Waterdeep and L'Oreal Silverhand and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. And not long after that, Ryan's trademark batshit insane, insane head just rears up and says, "Okay, good. You have now reached the end of this module. By the way, next up, you're going to race through the 9 hells."
Yep.
Oh, right. Damn.
What?
Yeah.
So Ryan, this is a perfect culmination of what Ryan is. Okay, he'll go through a pretty tame adventure such as Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and make the ending like 12 times as climactic with different like factions all vying for this, all within one room.
Yep.
Yep.
Big huge battle, all this craziness going on. But then, as soon as we're level 5s or 6s, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
6s. I think at the time we're 6s.
As soon as it turned into level 6, he's like, "All right, done, boys. All right, what do you think of going to hell?" And we're like,
Wait, what?
and most of the party was like, sure. And me internally as the DM was, "Oh God, we're gonna fucking die." You know what lives in hell? All the fucking demons, all the fucking devils. They're all like CR22s. There's bad shit in there. And yet he's like, "Yep, we're going to hell, and we're gonna have a death race while doing it."
Yeah,
Yep.
a death race.
Oh, is that all? But
It's
it
like
turns out,
he's like, yeah, you're gonna have a death race, and I'm gonna throw you in this Mad Max looking thing.
War Machine.
Yeah, a
This
war
is
machine
where
as they
he
calls
took-
it.
This is what he took from
Avernus?
Avernus. Yep, Descent into Avernus. He stole that and was like, "All right, we're gonna have a death race." all of them, all the demons, all the devils are just gonna have a giant death race with giant murder machines. It's like okay.
Maybe not the demons, but definitely devils.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a few. There's a few.
I don't think there were.
No, there were a few. There were a few.
There were a few. I remember him saying, because I was like, because there was a few things I saw. I was like, ooh, that should not be there.
I remember a few, but that didn't really matter much once they put the pedal to the metal.
Exactly.
The pedal comes down.
Oh, I should also mention this is another one of Aaron's legendary traits, where his character died before the actual race begun.
Yep.
Yes.
From pulling.
And his character died in the dumbest way possible.
Oh. So the DM, all right. The DM. So he gave us an item.
Oh no.
Now I'm speaking of this as a DM who did this. This item can make or break your campaign. Easily. Crush it. Done. Restart. You know. It's called the Deck of Many Things. He gave that to a player who's a little inexperienced. Actually, this is her first game ever, so very. And who has a tendency for chaos. This player is great. She can sow chaos like crazy. But she had the Deck of Many Things. Turns out she used it quite a bit. Right off the bat, got a wish spell. Whew. And fortunately, saved it. But after a little bit, Millie coaxed Red a little bit. And also, I kind of wanted to as a player because I thought it was funny. Coaxed Ren into drawing from the Deck of Many Things. Millie got something pretty cool, a level up, and a cool magical item, in which Ren pulled the card Void, or the Void, which means your soul is ripped out and put into a place, a plane far away, basically. In which we rolled up the Far Realm. Basically is Cthulhu mixed with 7 other different planes all at once. It's horrifying. My character was over there. My character was officially dead.
Officially dead. And apparently the best thing that Josh, as the manager of the tavern, thought was let's throw her body into the freezer.
Let's throw her body into the freezer.
Yep. And so I had this whole thing, 1-on-1, finally got back, woke up in a freezer, which, by the way, as a person who DM'd, you know, your body is technically not dead. It's just in stasis, right? So basically, you're on magical life support. Except for outside influences can still affect it. So such as extreme cold, like a freezer. So technically, putting me in the freezer should have just killed me outright. Fortunately, DM was like, okay, you're not going to die like that. That's way too stupid. And
but imagine if it did though.
Oh, I'd be so sad.
Yeah.
It's so sad. My favorite character dies because of the party decided to put me in a freezer.
Oh yeah.
How did they die? Really medical ignorance and neglect.
Yeah, basically.
Yep.
Actually, if it was just neglect, I would have survived. Or not ignorance, I would have just survived. But with the whole let's just try to throw her in the freezer. That's a good trick, right? Let's try spinning. That's a good trick. You know.
It's like it'll keep her body fresh.
Fresh.
Body fresh.
So
something that doesn't say.
Yeah, man, this was all happening while the death race is going on.
Oh no, this is before.
This is before, right?
Yeah, this was
Otherwise,
before.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have a.
Right. Okay, so this is one of those things where I was not privy of.
So
it's a 1-on-1.
So what's fun is that I thought my character was dead. Ryan said we got to speak afterwards, you know, in that DM like you're fucked and we got to fix this kind of voice. And so I died no shock there. But the party, in the meantime, was like, I mean, they kind of were like, whatever. One of the Aaron character died again. Okay, whatever. Let's go. So they were able to go do this important political discussion. They went to Eberron and had this big whole thing to do. In the meantime, my character was revived, resuscitated, and taught a whole bunch of stuff from a very powerful person. And I decided it would be fun not to come back as myself, because I'm part changeling, right? I would come back as someone else, like as if I actually did roll up a new character. And so I came back as a tabaxi, like a tabaxi shaman looking guy. So very different.
Or
in terms
cat
of-
people.
You what? Yeah, a cat person, basically. I was a furry, all right? Don't at me. And so afterwards, after the political discussion, the race was about to be started. My new character was introduced. All that fun stuff. We had a really interesting time trying to bond. But then we continued. We started the race. And by the way, I didn't know how privy we are to kicking ass, but we kicked some ass.
Oh, we kicked.
We did.
Apparently, we kicked so much ass that all of hell hated us for it.
Yeah,
Yep.
we did. And like technically, I don't think we were supposed to win.
No,
technicality.
no, like we were invited to be entertainment was what the was what the contract called for.
Yeah, we were supposed to be entertained. but-
Unfortunately for them, we had very different ideas of what entertainment is,
right.
and none of them involved dying.
And in which we actually got through pretty handsomely. And we
Yeah,
actually
they-
made. I'm just gonna kind of skip over most of the race.
Yeah, no,
Just 'cause
like
not
we
really
went
pretty.
we went through all the nine circles, and by the end, I think by the towards the end of the ninth, like our vehicle, which at this point had become this souped up race car or sports car, that's along with this guy from Redline, if you all know that show, right? Great, like it's a great anime. Anyway,
Great
so we were
movie.
rolling up there, explosions happened, which then led to a party split between me and Redline guy rolling up to Asmodeus, and the rest of the party
Getting stuck in bureaucracy.
getting stuck in bureaucracy, and they were about to have
Unfortunately.
their souls like contracted away.
No,
But
I wasn't gonna allow that. I wasn't gonna allow that.
like you
I-
weren't gonna allow that. You weren't gonna allow that, but apparently DM said he was, but not sure about that.
Yeah, I told them I was gonna bog them down with so much bureaucracy, just as much as just like I'm gonna go through this contract like a fine tooth comb with and basically
Yeah.
just wasting time for us
And
to
yeah, and I ended up and roll up to Asmodeus. He asks, "What wish you want, dog?" You effectively pissed off all of hell. Make it quick.
make it quick.
And I was just like, I just want to go home, man, with my party, of course. And he's like, yeah, you know what? Done deal. Don't come here again.
Don't come here again. basically.
You're no longer
Yeah.
allowed to be in hell, which makes for a very interesting conundrum, whereby if my character dies,
Would you
like
go to hell?
like would they go to hell, or would they get kicked out of hell by Asmodeus and get sent straight to heaven?
Or one of the other planes. Oh,
Or one of the other planes, for all I know. Yeah. Okay, but anyways, we went out of
Here's
hell.
the cool info.
Yeah, we went out of hell. Seems great. And just when you thought, that maybe the party could take a break, because you've been through hell quite literally. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, war is breaking out.
fuck that shit.
Yeah,
We're
war's
not
break.
taking a break.
was like, yeah, wars breaking out. Cause like Cult of Dragons, they're pretty serious, yo. They
Pretty soon, though.
yeah, they're pretty serious, yo. They're waging war and stuff. So we kind of need you to go on a diplomatic mission, easy. Like
In and out, 5 seconds.
yeah, in and out 5 seconds, but with this handsome elf ambassador guy. Don't worry about it. Easy escort
Is there
mission.
some tension here? Do I hear some tension
Easy,
building up?
easy,
Do I hear some
easy. Nothing like nothing's ever gonna go wrong. Not even a few sessions into this brand new like into this brand new like subplot.
Yo,
We got
Um,
clapped hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is when
Also,
the-
they
this
went
is when the
to.
big-
I think
oh.
this is before. You also went to go check up on Dr. Love, who
right. Still in
who-
prison.
yeah, who's still in prison. Immediately afterwards, though,
Escaped.
they escaped.
And by the way, we had no contribution in the aiding and abetting of felon. So, yeah.
So if any police ask, we actually did not.
Like,
Actually.
I
But-
did not have business relations with that doctor.
Okay, I can't say that, but I didn't break him out of prison.
It breaks down prison. That's the important part.
Right.
That is the important part. He broke out of prison,
but
and
broke out of
apparently he tore down the entire prison with him.
Yeah, and he's on like a warpath. I think is that what DM said? He's kind of on like a mini warpath in certain areas, and we got to track him down at some point. Ugh, it's gonna be hard. So it turns out old characters can be really good fuel for DMs. So fun fact: if they don't want a character, just don't kill them off. Be like, use them. Use
Yep.
it.
So to all of you budding DMs out there, if there are any, bear this in mind. Who knows? Maybe you too could recycle that lawful good paladin that you really wanted to use, but had no chance of utilizing properly because everyone's a party is a murder hobo, and you can't do lawful good stuff with that. So yeah, don't kill him off. Recycle him in your next campaign.
Yeah.
Big bad
Or-
evil guy.
Or let the DM take it and have some fun with it.
Exactly.
Fun shit. Anyway, so Dr. Love escaped. We went on this mission, and it turns out on this diplomatic mission, we were tracking down some very we were trying
Ow.
to find a particular place. And as we approached this particular place, we found that there was an active battle going on. Which,
Indeed.
I mean, it wasn't like one or two guys fighting like five, no. It was like dozens upon dozens upon dozens of little character models all on this map.
Yeah.
And this,
Yeah.
and we had a very tragic but also really epic confrontation in this fight where
Yeah, we
Oh,
did.
I almost died here.
no
No,
did die.
you literally died.
Oh, right.
You actually died.
You actually
Yeah,
died.
I did die.
But not
But I almost permanent died.
but not
here.
before my rogue elf somehow pulling off a Kobe blindly, if I may add.
Oh my gosh, that fucking throw with the oil. Are you
I know.
serious?
tossing a Molotov cocktail blind into a snow-covered forest and somehow hitting a ballista.
So I'll help preface this. So, the DM had this huge fog of war map, right? Laid out because we actually didn't know that there was a big battle happening quite yet. and because we're too far away.
Yep.
Well, our rogue here, with her insane natural abilities, just fucking getting at 20s like candy, you know? And, well, he pointed out that it's like, oh yeah, you kind of hear a little commotion, but nothing crazy. And Nyx legitimately used the cursor and pointed right here. This is where I want to throw. And obviously, good rolls, natural 20, threw it, and hit right there. And the DM just like, I remember hearing this. Ryan just legitimately like, like sighed, and then he started laughing. And we're like, what's going on? It's like, nothing, you'll see. and after a little bit, I polymorphed into a dragon, and we kind of had some fun there.
Yeah.
And we got some air. Got to oversee what's going on. Big battle. Turns out Nyx Kobe'd from like 500 feet. a fucking oil urn onto what looks like a large ballista, like a siege weapon, and it just so happened that the square he hit was the square the ballista was on.
Right.
And so
Right.
the ballista caught fire, and of course, is inoperable.
Yeah, no longer operable. It's on fire, and the people on the ground just thought, well, the elves somehow magic sniped this ballista with fire magic. I don't know how, but they did it.
Yeah, they did it somehow, and we had a pretty interesting confrontation with the actual battle itself. There was
Oh yeah, there was.
wizard in the battle, and then there was like a Bahir trainer and all that fun stuff, and a Bahir. So that's what fucked us up.
Oh yeah.
Millie went down, and by the time we
Oh,
landed
oh
to try to help
yes,
her,
Ryan. Yes, Ryan. I did pick the exact square needed.
yep,
Yep.
yep. And as we landed, Millie died. But it was a big sad moment. But turns out our actions didn't go unnoticed, and fortunately, the good guys, the elves that we were trying to help out and trying to
And
get to with the
yep,
ambassador.
and trying to escort the ambassador too.
Yeah. Turns out they used this opportunity with us sowing as much chaos as possible, and destroying some very key members. Overtook and won the battle, and
Yep,
so
and
chuck that up to Hydra Force as well.
I know,
Yep.
and mind you, this was just 3 members routing an
Yeah.
entire army from behind.
Yeah, yeah. And yet, but still, one of the players died.
Yeah, and I think like everything else in between that led up to this point, pretty much. I think Ryan just was like, you know what, I'm just gonna let you level up like crazy and balance any enemies you face around that instead.
Right. And so we get the ambassador there. Slam dunk. Had a pretty great time. Millie was resurrected, or not resurrected. Yes, resurrected, not reincarnated.
Yeah,
Big difference.
resurrected.
But yeah, Millie was brought back into the fold. Things were good. We were able to meet some very powerful NPCs. Kind of see see some tidbits of a grand scheme of things. Nyx had some occasional flirting. That was great. We also did
Hashtag not a bard.
Oh, this will also speak to the level of what Ryan operates. So, here we followed this wizard, very powerful guy. He's batshit insane, right? Just crazy person. We follow this guy, and my character, being very magically based, I wanted to kind of learn and kind of, I don't know, maybe steal some spells or memories or whatever. Try to learn a bit from this guy. Turns out it culminated into one of the big limitations of D&D 5th edition, which is the level cap for spells, is now broken. In
Yep.
the fact that now you can cast 10th level spells, 11th, so on and so forth. And so it kind of culminated into this big reveal that, oh shit, turns out the big limiting force is gone, and now we are kind of boned. Got to figure out what to do now.
Gotta figure out what
So-
to do, because now everyone can technically has their potential level,
Potential.
broken now.
Yeah, and so it instantly become a big problem. In which we were informed of that very handsomely. But after trying to understand the gravity of our situation, we had to eventually leave the elven city that we helped protect. Or got the ambassador to, and so we had to get the ambassador back home, and we had a big kind of. Turns out this escort mission was pretty fun. So
Yeah, it was pretty fun. You would think escort missions are dumb, boring, maybe even hellish to go through, but no. Our DM actually managed the pretty impressive feat of making escort missions fun.
Yeah, and mainly because the guy we were protecting was actually a cool guy. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
we-
was a cool guy. He was a cool guy. Well,
but,
one adventure and a half later, just trying to get back.
oh fuck yeah! So this is on our way back. We were able to see that something has been kind of following us for a while. We got this feeling, or at least Ren got this feeling, and everybody's kind of on edge and things of that nature. But eventually, it kind of culminated to when we're getting pretty close to the city. We had to rest for one night, and turns out that night, what came before us was a large. I forget what the name of it was, but it was this large toad
A salad? Was it a salad?
No, it
Oh,
wasn't.
it's not like
It was much bigger.
Okay, much bigger.
It's
Yeah.
it's from the
Banderhoff, or
head
something,
off or something like that. I think.
something like that. Anyway, it was. It was a fucking-
I would now like to dub this character Paul Bunyan, because I don't know the name.
Yeah. Okay.
So Paul
The
Bunyan came
Paul
barreling.
Bunyan,
So
Yeah,
Paul, but
in which it was a hard fight. It was a hard fight even for all the people we had for this, and some of us only surviving by the skin of our teeth. Me, but I literally at the end of it, I had 1 HP and I was poisoned, so I fell unconscious afterwards. But got back up, got better. But we had this big encounter with this creature, and it turns out this creature was actually when we killed the creature, it melted, and within the melted remains of it was was just standing there the prodigy from way back in the dragon heist, which by this point we haven't seen the prodigy do anything for 4 months, something crazy like that.
Yeah, or
And it
in or in the span of how time actually flows in game, a few weeks.
yeah, we would have.
Yeah, in a few weeks.
Bad.
But in game. But for us people playing it, it was 4 months, and so we're like, whoa, it's the prodigy. And
Whoa!
turns out the prodigy got really pissed and fucking left, and so all that
Yeah,
fun shit.
Yeah, they rage quit.
You rage quit, yeah, basically. So we went our way down back to Waterdeep, back home, and
and all was good until until the DM was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna give you a few plot points. Choose which one you want to go to. So you can either walk to your deaths and face Doctor Love, or have a nice intriguing possibly chill character exploration arc by heading over to this place called Long Saddle.
The funny thing is, I think the DM intended the opposite effect. I think he was trying to persuade. It's like, yeah, go have this somewhat cool but mostly chill thing with Dr. Love. Now it turns out, like, I wasn't having any of that shit.
I mean,
But
I was,
they
but
were.
I got overruled by
You-
rule of democracy.
Yeah, and it turns out, like, we're like backstory stuff, character backstory stuff. It's like, yeah, we're gonna go do our character backstory stuff. And so when we got there, oh god, it was bad. It was really bad. So,
It was really, really
a little bit
bad.
of a preface. Millie and Ren are orphaned from orphan nobles, and their parents were killed, and in which they saw they were able to go through it and be able to see that, yeah, it turns out there was a green dragon somewhere, or at least that they were able to kind of rediscover this at some point. But basically peasant revolt because our mom was a witch. She was evil, so we could. It was warranted, but I mean, stuff like that. So anyway, we make our way there. Turns out this town hasn't been heard of or like heard from in like months. Like ever since we were orphaned. Technically, we were only orphaned within the game like 2 months ago. Just time scale, right? And or 2 or 3 or something like that. But they haven't heard from this town for a while.
That
So
2 months and 2 or 3 years is a very huge difference. You do know
oh
this,
yeah,
right?
oh yeah. I mean, I hope so. I mean, I'm getting older, so it actually kind of feels the same now. But anyway,
Bruh.
but we're eventually able to get to this place, and this place is called Long Saddle. And this Long Saddle, turns out this place is uber like it's not doing well. It's a big kind of backwaters kind of farming kind of place. Think basically Wild West, only fantasy. I know that's really weird, but just go with it.
Or basically every generic isekai anime fantasy setting ever. Ah yeah,
Oh really?
this is what this is what the starting village looks like. It's
Oh
old.
shit!
Is the correct
God
way.
damn it, man. Billy, we're from that. Oh fuck.
Oh shit.
But anyway,
Congratulations, you come from a generic anime background.
God damn it.
Oh no.
But so it turns out the people here are on a big witch hunt. They've apparently this new mayor in town, and he kind of helped orchestrated our parents' death and all that stuff. So we're pretty pissed to find this out. We're in disguise, of course,
Yeah, of course.
But we
The
were
best
able to kinda
disguises.
we're able to piece together some clues and things like that. Certain revelations came to light, but the one big mystery that we couldn't figure out was we saw a dragon in one of our memories. Where is this dragon? It's a big giant green dragon. We should be able to find an ancient green dragon.
Right.
Like, it's kind of a big thing. So we were going around and we were like, oh, what the fuck? All right, well, this is stupid shit. And we actually, we were like, you know what? Let's try to investigate some shit. Trying to figure things out. Nothing. We got nothing. Turns out, a little bit later on, after we go to our home, have a really sad moment, cool character development, all that fun shit. We we got invited by some guards. It's like, hey, the mayor wants to talk to you. Basically, DM saying, come on, that's the plot.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. Come on, do it.
Just do it. Anyway, he finally gets us down there. Most of us. I wasn't there for a little bit. Eventually, eventually one of the party members is like, "Oh, hey, you probably should come talk to the mayor." It's like, "Oh, damn it! I didn't know we were going to talk to the mayor." So we finally get all into the courthouse or whatever it was, the building, the big building, and we're talking to this guy named Vandrin. Ugh, disgusting name, Vandrin.
Yes, I
but
remember Vandrin.
right? Oh, our disguises were great. But turns out, talking to Vandrin, he seems very evil. Like, more evil than just a regular old dude, you know? We're like, whoa. And
Whoa, you're like super evil, man.
super evil man, basically. And he's kind of putting clues that he's the Green Dragon. And it's like, okay. And so we were like, oh shit. Time to act. And as per usual, the evil villain doesn't get a chance to monologue. Like, he's like, let me monologue, and we're just like start shooting him or trying to choke him, you know.
Yep.
Basically. And basically the big thing is just like, I could kill this town, or I could kill this town with all this necromantic power, summoning the dead. So what will you do? Save the town, or try to kill me?
And then the
Basically.
party's like, nah, fam.
Nah, fam.
We're here to kill you, G. Shut up.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. Where the biggest description, or the best saying, was like, so there must if you cut off the head of a snake, does the body die? And as we're pointing to the to Vandrin. So then at this point we all started like, all right, fam, it's wartime. We've had a really epic confrontation in which he summoned 2 bone claws and also dropped his human look.
Dropped his human form, and lo and behold, an ancient green dragon, necromantic, if I may add, CR22.
Yep, and two
And two
CR12s.
And 2 CR12
Yeah.
bone claws. A very formidable challenge for a party that was just a measly level 10.
Yeah, but all that stuff, we finally were able to get to level 10. There's 4 of us.
Yeah.
Now, as a DM, I pay very close attention to my CRs. Because, and as you should, and if you don't know what that is, it's challenge rating. So how powerful is a creature? The higher the CR, the more powerful it is. Simple concept. Multiple creatures in an encounter can have a higher CR. So, when you put an ancient green dragon, which is a huge 22 CR, and then add on top of it 2 level 12 CR or challenge rating CRs, that becomes very easily a deadly encounter for most parties. And the fun thing is, we were only 4 level 10s. Now, I won't go into the math, but basically, we shouldn't have won.
No,
We should die.
we really shouldn't. We should have been like team party wiped.
Yeah, team TPK, team party wide, team party.
Yeah,
kill.
pretty much. But no, instead of that happening, not only did we survive that encounter, we actually killed this ancient green dragon.
Yeah. And the DM, with how flabbergasted, he actually kind of alluded, like said, it's like, okay, we gotta talk. Basically broke character for a second. It's like, all right, so the evil dragon was supposed to be a reoccurring character or a reoccurring villain. All right,
He has a lair and everything.
he was gonna fly away. You were gonna have have more things to do, but no, you ruined that too.
Yes, theater denial 2.0, electric boogaloo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, the crazy thing is, I'm surprised. Like, one of our party members went down but wasn't killed.
I'm surprised I didn't die there.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't either. I'm surprised we all didn't die, honestly. As a DM, when I saw an ancient green dragon and 2 bone claws, I was like, I was legitimately was looking. I was like, we are not gonna live. We are going to die.
No, we
Yeah.
we really shouldn't. We really shouldn't. However, we did. We
And
killed him.
the, w-
We killed
the
him
way,
so good.
yeah, and the way we did it was better.
I know, like
Um,
we had style points on top of that.
yeah, you
Best.
like shooting out the
like,
eyes of the green
I
dragon
know. Shoot at the
while
eyes.
shadowing the colossus.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's some serious
Except
stuff.
Yeah,
they create the
and
giant
going back to your comment, 336, also known as Ryan, uh, PCs would have died if it was a SLAD. Now, see, I highly doubt that. Maybe one or two would,
Depends on the sled.
depends on the
depends
SLAD,
on
but looking at how the party has been doing so far,
even
it's
the death slide we might have been able to.
like it's like
I
even
don't
in
know,
death, we would have somehow pulled it off.
because
Right?
I think a death sled doesn't a death sled have 9th level spells?
Oh yeah.
Like
That's
like
good.
it's more powerful than a lich. Like that's the thing. At least if I'm remembering.
Yeah.
I haven't used slats that much, so I don't
Yep,
remember.
and yes, indeed, Theater 2.0, except it creates a giant mess. And I do remember howling in laughter when the next session we are taken to this ancient green dragon's lair, where Ryan pretty much gives a very, very thorough description of what it was, what traps it had, and how many enemies that should have been there
Yeah.
that now mean absolutely nothing because we killed the boss.
Yep.
Yep.
And since it was, by the way, fun fact for all of you DMs out there, necromancy really powerful, really cool. But if your necromancer dies, that whole army is considered dead. It will just fall over and crumble. So
Yep.
it's like really lucrative, but it's really dangerous if you lose one.
Yeah,
FYI.
but of course, much like in Vegas, the house always wins. So and I think some sessions that I think the session after that, Ryan is like, okay, I'm going like for the session after this one, prepare level 14 character sheet.
Yeah.
I'm just
So-
gonna beat you all up with this insanely OP character.
Well, I mean, as a DM, I also want to preface this because this
Yeah.
is the level jump. Like most campaigns, when you go through, you creep by. You can kind of edge out another level, or you could kind of get one level. You'd never really jump from like 1 to like 2 levels higher.
Or
You
10 to
don't really
4.
make that jump. But let alone jump from level 10s to 14s. Or I think it was a level 11.
Level, we're
But-
I mean, technically it was a level 11 to 14, but yeah.
But still, within like less than a session, jumping that high, and that just probably means, from a DM standpoint, from a DM standpoint, he's like, for what his plans are later, we're gonna need to be this level.
Yep.
And two, because as a player, that means what we're gonna be fighting is so much harder than what we fought previously.
Yep, and
Yep.
I don't want to imagine what's harder than an ancient green dragon, not gonna lie.
Oh, there's a lot.
I
There's
know
a
I
lot.
know there's a lot. I just don't want to imagine it.
Yeah, we're right. Me neither.
Yeah, and that pretty much sums up like an abridged version, mind you, of the tales of Hydra Force, or as I like to put it, Aqua Teen Hydra Force.
Aqua Team Hydra Force. Yeah, we're Aqua Team Hydra Force.
Yeah, pretty much. And that sadly concludes our podcast for tonight. So,
Oh,
Aaron,
was quick.
Marcus, Aaron, yeah, I know, like I know it feels quick, but 2 hours has already passed.
Yeah.
We probably bored the fuck out of these people. Sorry.
Yeah, probably. But hey, before we end it here, I am just going to show something really cool that came out of this that came out of I think about a year of campaigning. Year campaigning in Ryan's epic quests. Hang on, let me just put this here. Ooh, this, my friend, this, ladies and gentlemen, is Aaron's drawing of the
Oh,
original
fuck.
of the original Hydra Force, or back then it was called, I think, the Love Hydra. Yeah,
Yeah,
Love Hydra.
the precursor.
The precursor. Yeah, it is an absolutely amazing drawing, and I can't believe this man doesn't do commissions.
Oh, it's not that good. It's awful.
Dude, this is sick.
Oh,
It's
you
like
make a man blush.
it's and as you can see from the left, we have Honk, Eldritch Terror, also known as a goose, and then you have yours truly, Nyx, as a rogue high elf, complete in a complete in the barmaid uniform that she rewears to work, and rollerblades because Josh thought, yeah, let's have her work in rollerblades for some reason.
Like
Sex
some
appeal.
like Sonic, like it's like Sonic if you ever
Yeah.
if you
Like
guys ever know
Sonic,
what-
yeah. And then of course you
Yeah.
have, Dr. Love
Oh,
in the middle, like somehow able to smoke while wearing a Blake's Doctor mask. Really dapper in that
Yep.
hat.
really,
Followed by M, Toast in Peace. Toast in Peace, my friend.
No,
Oh,
that's God.
that's
Wait,
Josh. In the
wait,
back.
really? That's Josh at the
Yeah.
back there?
He
With
never gave me any way his character
Oh,
looked.
I thought that was supposed to be M because of how almost robotic he looked.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the glasses, but see, that's why it's probably it was a bad drawing.
Okay. So that's Josh. That's Josh. Um, manager of the tavern, also known as Obnoxious Paladin. And
like
then I know, yeah, I know. I like Josh. I'm just joshing around.
Zinger.
All right, and then we have Ren, who who likes to pretend that she's in charge and everything. She's not, but
No, she's not.
she's not. But
She's just a bitch. That's all
yeah,
she is.
just but it's okay. We let children behave as children. And then of
Oh,
course,
yeah, big plot point. Millie and Ren are little girls.
I mean, I wasn't going to say that because in the eyes of an elf, y'all children. But hey,
I mean, but even an elf, you're an ancient elf. You're old. But,
old lady.
That's what all short-lived life forms say. Anyways,
Old lady Nick.
and then you have Kraus. Oh, look at that. Uh, look at how epic and badass Kraus is. Just slop squatting over in the corner.
Slum Squad.
Yep.
I try to make this in a like a 1920s style, you know. With,
Yeah,
like, the
and you
suits
can
and the
you can really
hats.
see that, which is kind of sad because I don't think you can get a barrel fed Tommy gun in D&D.
Don't put it past Ryan.
Yeah.
That is the least of that he could definitely pull off something. Hell, wait, no, hold up. I think Ryan's, not Ryan, Josh's new character, or it's technically Rich,
Nick.
right?
Yeah, Richard Rich.
Yeah. So I think his new character, I think has a Tommy gun. Funny enough, I think he does.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Oh my.
So when he rejoins, I think he does have a Tommy gun.
Nice. All right. Well, that is it for tonight. Thank you for coming on, Marcus and Aaron.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like like y'all y'all been doing me a solid just by coming on here.
Oh, no problem.
Oh,
I mean, if you need more, if you want some more like random stories or stuff, yeah, just pop us on. I've DM'd
Or
for
we can
literal years, so I
yeah,
got plenty
and we
of
can
them.
also like do rants about like how we were ranting about Rangers being weak before. We
Oh,
could do like for Rangers.
And just being
We could
weak,
do stuff like that.
or you know, that or you know
That
a certain franchise that stems from Rooster Teeth.
oh yeah, we could we can
please
also
no.
talk about that.
I don't want to talk about that anymore. Okay,
Well,
fine. I'll talk about it more, but I
wait,
won't be
no,
happy
wait,
about it.
wait, okay, no. All right, so again, thank you all for thank you both for coming, and thank you everyone for watching and listening in. If
Yeah,
you
thank you.
yeah, if you guys like what I do, feel free to like and subscribe, or not. It's your life.
Hit
Or
that bell
don't.
notification. Bam.
Or don't.
Like
Or-
because I do know firsthand how annoying it is to get told every single time you like and subscribe, hit bell notification, because hey, you hear it enough times, it might as well just become a noise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. We should probably come up with like a jingle or something, like just to make it different. I don't know.
I don't know,
We'll
like
we'll try. We'll try.
we'll try, but yeah, thank you
Like
so
if
much
you
for
liked
coming.
it, dislike if you didn't. No.
Yes, I don't know, yeah, yep. And if you really like what I do, feel free to feel free to hop on over to the description where again at your at your own leisure, if you feel like it. Uh, you may you may want to buy me a cup of coffee, or don't.
Or don't.
Again it's your life. Yeah. Have a good night, everyone.